Good evening, gentlemen. This is Scorpa 2015 Factory Edition 300cc. Today I'm going to maintain my bike. In my plans, I would like to clean the front wheel, especially the bearings, blow the old grease and then repack the grease. I will also clean my brake pads. With the rear tire, I will clean chain with the Varsol. I will clean my brake pads as well as repack the fresh grease to a wheel. I will also look under the bike and then try to re-grease my linkage. This is a very important part. Every time when you jump, this part is moving along with the rear suspension, and if you're riding your bike in a muddy condition, it's usually rust over there and you don't want to have a rust there. I will also clean and put the fresh grease in my levers. It's crucial for good timing, as well as I'm going to clean my acceleration or my roll gas. Basically this is what it's called, I believe, as well as my front brake. Front axle removal, front wheel removal. You have to loosen up those two 6mm bolts, which appear to be on the left and the right side on the bike because of the different design. Usually the axle, it's a one big axle going through the entire wheel. This bike has a two-part axle, which you will see later on. I always take off my brake pads and check their condition. If it's any glazed surface, I'm cleaning with sandpaper. To be able to do it, you have to undo a 6mm bolt as well as safety pin. To be able to remove the safety pin, I'm using a long nose forceps, and this way it's less frustrating to take this part off. To be able to take off the entire brake caliper, there are two 8mm bolts you have to loosen up completely. With my front wheel, I try to make this job less frustrating, so I'm taking off my front caliper. This way I have a very easy access to my front wheel, as well as if I need to put it back, it's much easier. Those ones here, those are the front brake pads, obviously, and I'm checking the surface, and I will take the glaze off with the sandpapers. What grade to use sandpapers? Well, I think that you can use 150. I have it 150. It was actually pretty good. So, as I mentioned before, this bike has a different axle, has a two-part axle. Normally you have a one big part. Sometimes even you have a spacer, which is the pain in the butt to put it together if you have a loose spacer between the shocks absorbers on the left and right side. It was a really idiotic design. This bike has a two axle and the part, and then to be able to take it off you have to loosen up again 6mm bolts on the left hand side of the bike, and then it was very easy to take off this axle without any issue, without any problem. Pretty good design. I like it. So as I mentioned before, this is a very interesting axle. It's two-part axle. Normally you have a one, which is going on the right hand side of the bike. This one has two, long piece and then the short one on the right hand side. Pointing right now at the loose caliper. Not important. The short piece going on the right hand side, the longer one it's on the left hand side. Pretty neat design, very easy to dismount and mount the front wheel. I'm showing you right now that I'm spraying on a dust seal with a metal sharp object, and then when I took it off, the grease was still there. As a matter of fact, those bearings are made in Poland, so maybe that's the reason why they have a grease inside still. But the grease which was inside, it's more like it's a very hard grease, so blow with the air and then this way you will be able to repack with the fresh grease, which is more like a butter consistency instead of the hard paraffin one. I'm using a syringe, and I just press on the bearings. It's a very good way to do it. Nose blower I'm using to get rid of the old grease. Some of the parts are actually falling on the front brake, so you need to later on clean it on, obviously. And those 4 bolts, it's a good idea to tighten up and check whether they are tight. As you can see, the front brake, it's moving back and forth. This is good. This is how it's supposed to be. Don't panic. Leave it alone. Uh, Front brake pads, I clean them prior. I'm checking right now the thickness, and then just basically with a few strokes on the side papers. This one is 150 grade. You will be able to get rid of the old surface. So please don't take off the layer for 5 minutes. 5 seconds, 2 seconds, it's just enough to make sure that it's no oil over there or nothing like this. Now I'm thinking that I'm ready to actually put the fresh grease in. Dust seal, it's on, everything is nice and clean. The one thing which is left, I'm using the acetone to clean my front disc brake. Please do not use the acetone on any plastic or rubber component because they will deteriorate very quickly. But as I mentioned before, this disc brake, it's a floater disc brake, so it has a movement. It's supposed to be a movement. Now I'm checking my front spokes. So by poking each individual spoke, I can hear whether one or the other has a different sound. If it's a little bit more dull, then I will tighten up. Now I'm ready to put stuff together. One part of the axle, I just only grease the part which they have a contact with the front bearings. I do not put any grease on the thick part. First of all, because I don't want any movement to occur over there, and secondly, it's not necessary, especially when you tighten up those clamps. They're supposed to hold this tight, and obviously if you put any kind of the grease, it's a possibility that it's going to actually move. So make sure that you don't put on a thick part of your axle any grease. I'm going to keep my attention to the rolled gas. As you can see, it's a little bit of the grease and a lot of dust over there, so it's a pretty good idea to clean this every 2 to 3 rides, making sure that roll gas is operational and it's not going to stack, because this can create the huge problems. I also clean my lever, and as you can see, it's a lot of fine dust over there. It's always a good idea to clean this stuff. As you can see, the front brake, those plastic spacers, they change shape. You can see actually that they don't look very healthy, so I'm going to replace them. And every time when they change the shape, the front brake or even front brake lever or clutch lever, they can rattle and then just go from side to side. It can affect your precision of using those instruments. So this is the one which I replaced already with a new bronze spacer. And this one here, it's obviously a rolled gas. It's quite filthy inside. I'm planning to clean with the Varsol or with this Finish Line Ecotech solvent. It's designed for bicycles, but it actually works awesome for a plastic. I also use Varsol if I don't have the other product handy. Quick look at the rolled gas. I clean inside, but the rack I was cleaning with, you can see how filthy it is. The other part of the rolled gas, this body, it's very important to grease this axle over there, as well as this roll, which helps cable to smoothly operate inside. I'm using a dry finish line Teflon grease for bicycle. It's pretty good. I'm putting a few drops inside, and then they just go down with the gravity, and this will help with the smoothness, as well as save my cable. Sometimes it's happened that the cables snap because it's constantly using those parts. So when I finish this one, I will go to the rear linkage. Now we are at the rear. I take off the rear wheel. I will do pretty much the same what I did with the front. Take off my brake pads, check the thickness, take off the old layer, the glaze layer from the brake pads. Then I will keep attention on my rear wheel. By removing, I will remove my spacers. Then the dust seal, blow the old grease, repack with the fresh one, put the dust seal back, tighten up those 4 bolts which hold the sprockets. I will clean my chain. Actually, those are 2 chains over there for my son and my bike. And then I will keep attention to my magic linkage. It's a very crucial part. It's movable. It's constantly moving with your suspension. And to remove this linkage, obviously it's a very long bolt, about 10 millimeters diameter, and to be able to do it, you have to have access on the right side of the bike. This nut I'm showing you what right now with my finger, it's pretty easy to remove. The only issue is that because it is a very long bolt, on the other side, very often any other bike which I used to maintain, Beta gas, this bolt actually was hitting my my left foot peg, so I have to take off or loosen up this 8 millimeters bolt, so it create more space. So what I did so far, I take off one of the linkage bone. I believe this is what you call this. If you take a look inside, it's not bad actually. It could be much worse, yes. So I'm glad that actually I took this off. And then you can see on the surface it's a little bit of the grease, like the old grease with the dust, and this will cause later on the problems. So it's really a good idea always to take this off and clean. And this is what I'm planning to do. I'm going to clean this thoroughly with the Varsol. I will take this off as well, so I'm going to take off, I will just go here. I'll take off this bolt as well, and then I will have a very easy access to this one. I don't think that this time I'm not going to move the bolt, the linkage, which is going actually to my rear spring and shock absorber. I'll just basically grease all this part. So, and clean obviously. Thanks for watching my movie, How to Maintain the Bike. Basic maintenance is very important. Doing more often, it's crucial. First of all, because you want to have all the parts operational, and you want to learn how to repair the bike even on a spot in a bush. I hope that you enjoy. This is the one way of doing maintenance. I'm leaving to your own discretion what kind of tool you're going to use or the way how you're doing. You know, as long as the results it's satisfactory. It's important to look after your bike, and I hope that you enjoy it. And I'm looking forward to see you gentlemen in an indoor. My bike I put together successfully, and it was working, and we have a great evening. So thanks a lot, and if you have any opportunity to do your own movie, your own unusual or usual way to do it, please share with us, and this way we'll be more informed and more knowledgeable. Thanks, and have a good day.